Alright guys, it's Chatterbox Reviews, coming at you guys with Suits, Season 7, Episode 10, the mid-season finale review. Alright, so I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was probably the best episode of this season, to be honest with you. I think the premiere I liked as well. But I thought, this episode was just awesome. And, just the way they wrapped everything up, they created new storylines for the next season, was just really well, the way they did that. And, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Just gonna, get into the recap here. This one, it's gonna be a little bit longer because I did like to include quite a bit of stuff. And then, of course, towards the end, I'll share some more of my thoughts and get to my rating. So I thought it was a really good mid-season finale in terms of, that sort of criteria. And I thought it was just a really good episode in general. Like I said, probably the best of the season. They had a lot of actors come back and whatever. Definitely really impressed with this, to be honest. I thought it was great. The Sinner is coming after this as well. I'm a little late on these today, so just bear with me there. But the Sinner should be out later today, that review. So anyways, if you're somehow looking for that or whatever, that's coming after. But anyways, Suits, So anyways, let's get into the recap now of this episode. There's a lot of good, juicy stuff here. So basically, we start out the episode with Lewis. He tells Donna and Harvey that they do not have to do this mock trial thing, and that he doesn't have to depose her because Donna is, it's part of work product or something like that, and she's privileged to the information on the Clifford Danner case. So the case that Malik's bringing up, and that she won't have to testify. So Lewis kind of comes up in the clutch here, and he's able to help out, and he's always the smart guy who knows all these laws and everything. I thought that was really cool of him. Of course, later we kind of find out that he had his own little personal agenda with that. But obviously he meant good. And I don't know, it's just kind of upsetting the way they kind of set this whole episode up. It's called Donna, right? And they hyped up this big mock trial last episode. They talked about it for like good 5 minutes. And then we didn't even get to see it. So that was one of the things I didn't like about this episode. I thought that was a big negative. I was really excited to see it. Right when it came on, I'm like, yes, we're going to see this mock trial with Lewis and Donna. And we didn't even end up seeing it. So, yeah, a little disappointing, but I kind of get the story arc, and they definitely wouldn't have been able to fit all the rest of this good stuff in if they were to show this mock trial. So then Alex goes to see Eli Gold, so they kind of start another new storyline in this episode, which, to be honest, I wasn't, I'm a big fan of, giving Alex the new story arc and everything. I think I'll talk about that in a second, but I just thought, I think if they were going to give him another big story here, or, like a big storyline, I felt that they could have given it, a little bit more thought. Maybe like another guy was coming after him, but I did like, that they did Eli Gold, Bratton Gould, that guy. But I feel like, they could have came up with something, a little bit better than just Gould trying to get him again. It's sort of just really repetitive at this point after Bratton tried to get him, and then he signed the papers, and then Bratton came after him again. And so now this guy from the same firm's doing it again. But anyways, I did like that, he had that story arc. So basically, he finds out that this Eli Gold, is, obviously Tommy Bratton's, partner, is forming a hostile takeover over Pfizer, which is obviously his biggest client. But it's, within the rules, nothing's really illegal about it. They signed the paper, to not touch his clients, but, this is technically not, right? He's doing it, through the whole, board and the shares and everything like that. So, definitely, a smart kind of move by Eli, but, just a dick move, right? And I really like this quote from Alex, and he said, "The last time one of you two went up against me, his name was Tommy Bratton, and I don't know if you noticed, but he doesn't work here anymore." So I thought that was awesome thing for Alex to say, kind of, just in your face sort of thing, right? And yeah, so I really like that, standing up to Eli there. And yeah, I just love this. Like I said, I really love that they gave him a story arc here for the final episode, because we haven't seen him in a couple episodes, or maybe even three, since the whole Bratton Gould was wrapped up. So, yeah, I think two. So yeah, it was good to see him again, and good to see that he had a purpose in this episode. So then Rachel and Robert, which is a really interesting dynamic, by the way. I'm really glad they did this. Are trying this case in court. And it's sort of, a montage with Harvey and Mike against Malik, and then them in court against this other woman, who's basically backing up, the CEO in this case. So basically, we see first that Robert and Rachel do end up, the judge grants that they can have a deposition with the CEO named Arthur. In that case, so they kind of get a win, per se, in that. But in Mike and Harvey's case, at court, Donna is forced to take the stand to testify on the Coastal Motors case, and it's not Clifford Danner. So Malik's really smart here, obviously, and gets her to testify for that, which obviously isn't privileged information, not the same way as Clifford Danner would be. So basically Malik, she gets up on the stand, and all the stuff that we thought would happen happened. Although I didn't think it was as bad as it could have been. But Malik kind of brings up Harvey, insults her, says she was an actress and a waitress before, and now she's making six figures. So, he kind of makes it look like Donna shredded the document for Coastal Motors, and, like she did it then for Harvey, because she loves Harvey and wants to be with him, and so Harvey, and gave her the CEO job now, so that's also suspicious and kind of adding to his sort of picture that he's painting here. So it makes it kind of entirely plausible here that she could have done this for Harvey and hid this document for him. So really, really, a good way for Malik of doing things, really, really smart and sneaky kind of way. But I felt like, yeah, it could have been worse. I felt like he could have brought up the love interest thing more obviously than he did. But, obviously we could kind of see what he was building to. But yeah, I thought it was interesting, and definitely shook up Donna. So yeah, it was kind of a tough scene to see her up there again. But anyways. So then we see the flashbacks. Now, I really like the use of the flashbacks in this episode. I felt like, I think it was back episode 8, right? Where we had flashbacks in that one. I liked them, but this episode I thought they were a lot better. So basically, this flashback is Jasmine, who's, Rachel's aunt and Robert's sister. She asked Robert to help her with this case against the CEO, and we kind of see, it slowly building across the episode here. And then we see eventually at the end of the episode, we see the flashback where Robert finds out she dies. And we also do find out that she died because she was sick and not, really because of the whole CEO thing, like she didn't end up suiciding or anything like that. So that's something we can confirm now. And last review, I did say that I wasn't totally sure. And yeah, so we can confirm that now that it wasn't from that. But of course, Robert's still affected because, she asked him to do this, and then she died. So, he kind of feels bad, of course, right? But basically, Robert declines, to help her. He's basically trying to save his own ass, his own reputation now with the firm, so he can't help her. And obviously, Jasmine's very mad at him. And yeah, I thought, obviously, I understand both sides to this. I understand Robert, in that thing. And yeah, so I just thought they were really well done flashbacks, very useful. I thought the actors in the flashbacks were great. Only thing I would point out is, that, little Rachel was depicted as, I don't know, like she's pretty, like, I don't know, how to say this correctly, but, like Robert is black, right? And her mom is white. But in these flashbacks, she's kind of depicted to have, really, pretty dark skin, right? Like, Robert sort of way. But Meghan Markle, and Rachel now, doesn't really look like that. She, obviously she is black, but she looks like a little more white than that. So, but that'd be my only thing. Obviously, it's hard to find an actor that looks just like the one playing her in current times, of course. But yeah, other than that, I thought it was amazing. The actors did great, especially the younger Robert. I thought he was great, and they also brought Rachel's mom in there as well, younger Rachel's mom. So that was good too to see her as well, and I thought she was depicted great as well. That was probably the best one. Like that looked exactly like her. And the actor who was playing the younger Robert, he sounded just like Robert Zane, like Wendell Pierce. So I thought that was really good too. But anyways, that's just sort of my spiel on the flashbacks of this episode, and that's the last I'll be touching on that topic. So Mike and Harvey then go see the journalist at this newspaper thing who published the article Malik came up with here for court, and he basically tells them it was someone who worked with them who dropped off the article and gave it to him, and he says he ran it because he thought someone who worked with them before was a pretty good source. And obviously, Mike and Harvey have no idea who it is, so they kind of ponder that for a bit, and it kind of leaves some mystery. But I thought it was, that guy didn't really have to say any of that. So I thought it was pretty generous that he would, open up even a little bit. And I thought it was a little bit unrealistic as well. I mean, a journalist like that, I don't think he would really give up that information. But, it was needed kind of for the storyline. So then we see Lewis meeting with Lipschitz, Dr. Lipschitz there. And this is kind of where we find out the real reason why he didn't do this deposition, and Dr. Lipschitz kind of says it, but, we know it's kind of true. And he says the reason he didn't depose Donna in the mock trial is because of the way he was thinking about Sheila. And it obviously, Lewis mentions that later at the end of the episode. And, Lipschitz is totally correct. I mean, that's sort of the main reason why he didn't depose her. Luckily for him, he was able to find a reason, right, a legitimate reason with the law that, kind of let him off the hook. But, yeah, so we just see that aftermath of still with Sheila again with him. And we just saw last week's episode in Shame, right? So, it's a big after effect here. So then Donna tells Harvey and Mike that Holly Cronwell was the one who gave the story to the journalist. And, she doesn't have any proof of this, but, she kind of figures it out. She's really, good at that, figuring stuff out like that, with really quickly, too. So she figures it out, and, of course, Mike and Harvey agree that that makes the most sense. But then it was a really interesting moment. I thought it was actually a really, cool thing. And unusual, but Mike points out that Malik held up another document right when he said, I want to submit this into evidence, when he was holding the newspaper. And, I even went back and watched last episode, and Mike is totally, obviously he's right. That's just how the show would go. Like, they wouldn't screw up in the last episode and do this. But anyways, he's right. Malik holds up a document in his other hand at this time and basically makes Harvey be the one to bring it up. And he ends up being actually the one to submit the article into evidence. And so Malik isn't responsible for lying about it, right? Because he never brought it into evidence. So yeah, that was a really cool twist there. And I love this one too. This is probably my favorite quote of the whole episode. Maybe, it's probably an important one in the show as well, just to sort of see where Mike's gotten to. And he says, man, this guy's good. Right? And for Mike to say that, like, that's pretty amazing. Like, Malik should be pretty impressed with himself. So Mike seemed, really impressed with him. Obviously, at that moment, I was impressed with him. I didn't see that coming. And yeah, so I just thought that was a kind of a funny quote that Mike said. And also, kind of showing that, he recognizes Malik and, he respects him for how he's, dealing with this case so well. So yeah, then Donna goes to see Holly Cronwell. She volunteers to go and talk to her because she needs to apologize anyways for the last time. And it basically turns into a dead end. Holly says she won't help them out in the end, because, she has a lot of stakes on it. And, she tells Donna that, I don't do everything legal, as you know. So there's lots of stuff that he could, maybe even charge me on if I came out and said, whatever against Malik. So, that's kind of a dead end. She can't help them. And yeah, so that's kind of where that goes. But Donna at least apologizes to her. So, the two women kind of make up. But, nothing more than that. So then Rachel leads the deposition against the CEO, Arthur. I didn't get his last name, but I don't think that's really important. He's a dick anyway, so well, he doesn't really deserve, his full name. But I don't think they said his last name anyways. But basically, she doesn't get any information from the deposition. It's kind of just running into dead ends here. He's kind of just answering no to everything. But then he starts hitting on her, and obviously we see, that it's to start triggering Robert. But I mean, it was pretty messed up, some things he said. He said, it's funny that you guys are, trying me against discrimination or something, when I actually prefer African American, women of color more, or something like that, or the best. They're exotic or something like that, this guy says. And, obviously, it's all just to trigger Robert to get him, mad at him. So, of course, obviously, his plan works because, he's going to extremes here, hitting on Rachel and everything. So, Robert ends up getting mad, and he admits that the case is about his sister after Arthur, baits him some more and kind of gets him to that conclusion. And, at that point, we all know as viewers, we're like, man, he just screwed up, right? We know that, that's sort of what the CEO was kind of getting at there. And we obviously, then Arthur says he did it purposely, and he remembered Robert's sister, actually, and so he remembered her and totally used it against Robert here to beat him. So, yeah, definitely a hard scene for Robert. Obviously, he's got caught up in his emotions here, and it's something that we haven't seen from Robert, really. We've just seen a kind of a fierce, no emotion kind of guy, except when it comes to Rachel, of course, but the law part of him, the business part of him, he doesn't usually show any emotion, right? Like, he's all about, winning and well, I shouldn't say winning, but, doing his best in, in cases and stuff. And, he doesn't really let anyone off the hook or anything, or, get any deals from anyone. So it's really great to see his emotion playing out in these last two episodes here. And yeah, so I thought, the CEO was it, we have to admit, we don't like the character, but we have to admit it was a smart move by him, and it totally works. So, they basically get this case thrown out, is essentially, what they do. Because Robert, admits that it's about his sister and not really about the actual case. So, which is the truth anyways, right? So, I mean, it's not that big of a deal, really. Obviously, they want to see the CEO go down, but it is the truth, right? So, then Mike tells Donna that she should tell Harvey how she really feels. And so this was kind of an interesting scene. I liked that they had Mike sort of tell her, right? And kind of lead her to obviously what happens at the end. I'm going to get to that, don't worry. But yeah, so she, he kind of leads her along a little bit, as well. Lewis does as well. But yeah, so Mike kind of brings up the Logan Sanders situation. And man, I completely forgot about that. How, Rachel, she didn't really cheat on Mike, of course. There was no, intercourse or anything like that. But they I think they did make out, I think for a little bit there. So obviously, that was, obviously a tough situation for Mike, and Donna helped him out of that one. I think she told like Rachel to give him his space or something like that. I don't remember. Honestly, it was a long time ago. But, this kind of gets to Donna a bit, driving in the fact that, she should tell Harvey how she really feels before it's too late, and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I thought that Mike was great, and we don't really see Mike helping out Harvey and Donna really much. He kind of just helps Harvey out business side, but, yeah, kind of getting involved in personal issues again, and I like that. I like that spin on things. So then this was a funny scene. I mean, like, I don't know if it was supposed to be funny, but I found this absolutely hilarious. Lewis phones Dr. Lipschitz and tries to get him to pose as a German pharmaceutical CEO as a company. And I don't know, like, they both had straight faces and it was a serious scene, but I thought it was hilarious. Like, just that he would think of Dr. Lipschitz to do this, of course, and he does this, of course, because Alex is kind of struck out and they need to do something. They're going to fake something here in order to get, Eli to buy it and then step off the case. So, yeah. But I thought it was just funny that he asked Dr. Lipschitz to do it, and that, he was the first one that he thought of. It was just kind of funny. But, of course, Lipschitz says he won't do it, and, it's unethical. So he's not going to do it. Lewis can't depend on him here. And Lewis kind of, finds another dead end. Right, reaches another dead end. So yeah, the case, and obviously, at this point, Lewis is helping Alex. I didn't mention that, but that was good to see as well. Lewis, working with Alex, and there was some great teamwork there. I thought, because I was wondering how they were going to tie Lewis into this finale, right? Because if they didn't do the deposition, then he didn't really have a part to play here with the ongoing storylines. But I thought this was good, how they kind of connected him to Alex and let him help out there. That was really well done. So then Mike and Harvey go to Andrew Malick, and this was a great scene. This was a Batman and Robin moment, as the show kind of paints it, with Harvey and Mike just teaming up and taking a guy down. You know what I mean? So that was a great scene to see with Mike and Harvey. And basically Harvey threatens to put Malick on the stand and ask him about the Holly Cronwell and the article and how all that happened. But Malick says, you can't put me on the stand in my own case. And then, Mike says that they can put him on the stand because he's the one who brought up Harvey's character. And so, why wouldn't his character be in question if, they're going to, question Harvey's character? Why can't they question his? Which is a really good point. So they basically got him right where they want him. And they're able to finally get to him. And he is a dirty guy, right? I mean, he's obviously, outside of the parameters, legal parameters here. So it wasn't, it's not like a huge defeat. They kind of just finally found a way, illegally to get to him, right? But somehow or another, they would have been able to, just the way, he does stuff, the way he operates. And he would do anything to win against Harvey, really, that we saw. So, yeah, that was a great moment to see. So then Robert goes to Arthur. This was a really well done scene. And then Rachel meets with the board and is talking to them. So we kind of see parallel scene switches back and forth. Robert gives basically Arthur this paper to resign from the company. Of course, we don't know it at that point. And then we see back in the boardroom, Rachel is able to convince the board that they should get rid of Arthur as the CEO of the company and take the settlement offer. And she says, I don't know if you noticed, or if you've been in a courtroom lately, but juries aren't made out of, old, rich, white guys, right? And I thought that quote was great in just, convincing them, right? Saying, basically they kind of exaggerated, of course, right? Because this case is about to get thrown out, but they exaggerated it to the board so that they would overthrow basically this Arthur guy as CEO. So really, really brilliantly done. Arthur signs this paper that Robert gives him, and I'm guessing it's a resignation paper. That's sort of what I, inferred. And basically Robert and Rachel win against them. They don't win this case, obviously with the discrimination, but they're able to get Arthur out of that CEO position and hopefully, save a lot of future women who work for him from, basically his wrath, right, on them. So, yeah, that was good to see, and a really great conclusion to that little storyline / case there. Really smart idea, and Rachel actually had the idea, so that was really good to see. And it was a good twist, too. I didn't see that coming. I didn't really understand why Rachel was there, why Robert was here, and then it kind of all connected and came back. So I thought that was really well done, and just a good way to defeat, the villain, sort of, in this situation. So Arthur is down and is no longer the CEO. So then Alex goes to Eli, and he basically tells him that he won. And, he says, I'm here to do what you want, and, get on my knees and beg or something. And he kind of, gets him, he leads him there to talk about the poaching of Alex's client. And Eli offers Alex his job back or to stay at PSL and be without Pfizer. So he's kind of giving him an ultimatum here. But Alex says, I'm going to stay at Pearson Specter Lit and I'm going to keep Pfizer. And, of course, Eli's surprised. But Alex just got Eli to admit all of that and recorded the conversation on this device he takes out of his suit jacket. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, what a great move by Alex, just so smart. And we find out that Lewis also was behind it as well, right? So, no, it wasn't just Alex, but Brilliant idea. It works completely. And, of course Eli's going to talk about it, right? I mean, he's just a, cocky guy. So, obviously, he ends up bragging, that he was able to do it or whatever. And obviously that's illegal. So Alex has it on him and he gets to keep Pfizer. So again, really great wrap up to that storyline / case. Thought both wrap-ups were amazing. All three, really, right? With Andrew as well. So, obviously that wasn't a complete wrap-up, but yeah, so that was good. Then, here, we kind of see this. So then Malik tells Harvey that he submitted evidence of Jessica saying that she knew about Mike when she got him into the bar. I think that was season 6, episode 10. So yeah, big stuff there, and I even forgot about that. But at the time, they did make a big deal of it, that she could have been accused of this, right? That she just said that. So basically, Malik gets her disbarred to get back at Harvey, which is, absolutely horrible, but just shows the lengths that Malik's willing to go to here to get back at him. And really just dirty. I really wish Harvey just would have, punched him or something, like Travis Tanner. In that scene, but obviously there'd be some consequences for that. But anyways, basically Harvey gets to his apartment and Jessica's there, so that was a cool little kind of spin. I didn't see that coming, that she was going to be there. And she basically is there to tell him that she already is disbarred. Malik already got the motion in, and she has been disbarred already from, I guess, New York, right? It's just New York. And she says, she'll be fine in Chicago, right? So her bar's still active in Chicago, but, getting her disbarred in New York, doesn't really matter to her, but it does matter to the firm, as they can't really keep her name on the wall if she's disbarred in New York, right? So, big decision faces Harvey here, and he finally accepts, he kind of comes to the realization that he has to pay her out and basically take her name off the wall once and for all. So, tough moment, obviously, for Harvey and Jessica, both, that she's getting her name taken off the wall. And we haven't really met anything in there in Chicago, so we're not sure if she has her name on a wall there. I'm not sure yet. But, yeah, so just a tough moment, and to finally see Jessica kind of finally go, right? This is kind of her complete end. Not, completely. I mean, she might still be in the show a little bit, but her name's now off the wall, so she won't get mentioned, right? So yeah, that was tough. And then she also said, you and Lewis are gonna have to figure out how much money to pay her and how to spin it. So that's kind of leading to the next half of the season, and we'll see where that goes. Then the final scene. Now this was insane. Lewis apologizes to Donna, tells her about Sheila, and and touches on her emotions about Harvey, the way he's kind of telling her about Sheila, and it totally connects to her, right? Totally, exactly what she's feeling right now towards Harvey. And this was kind of the straw that broke camel's back for Donna, and this kind of pushed her into this. And also we learned that Lipschitz was right. So the point of her, and the whole point is, her not knowing about the future with her and Harvey. She should find out before it's too late. That's basically the whole thing Lewis said. So Harvey comes into the room. He's talking, he's saying, we won against Malik or something like that. And Donna goes right in for the kiss. Wow. This is a great moment. Obviously, I said in the last review, I think that the moment when Donna and Harvey get together, that's going to be the end of the show. Maybe not, right? I mean, this is pretty crazy. It wasn't exactly, a big moment. I mean, they didn't make out. They didn't, have sex or anything like that, but it was a kiss, right? So, yeah, kind of a big deal. And she kissed him. It was pretty long time, though. It wasn't just, a little tap or anything. So, she kind of finishes kissing him, and she says, "Sorry, Harvey, I just had to know." And then she walks out, and we just see Harvey's face. We kind of focus in on his face, and he's kind of just surprised. A lot of emotions going through his mind, obviously. And, yeah, just an amazing moment to see that go down. And the setup for that was amazingly done as well. I thought just the whole way they did that was great leading up to it, and we knew that it was coming. So we could have kind of braced ourselves, right? But, yeah, that was an awesome scene. And I know a lot of people watch the show are all about, the love stories and all that, the whole Darby sort of ship name. So obviously that'd be a huge moment for them. I'm more, about the suits sort of aspect of it. But, yeah, I still did enjoy that, of course. So now I get to my rating. For this one, I gave it a 4.9 out of 5. This was an amazing episode, guys. A great mid-season premiere. A great just episode in general, right? Just amazing stuff. They all good wrap-ups of all the cases that were going on that started last episode. I thought the only two negative things was we didn't see the deposition that they hyped up, the whole week, basically. And that the whole Alex's storyline with Eli was kind of a little bit repetitive at this point. Those were the only two negatives I noticed, guys, in this episode. All of the rest of the stuff was very good. I think there was a couple scenes in there that I thought, do we really need those? Probably not. The scene with, Mike and Rachel talking. But anyways, those were really the only two negatives. Thought this was the best episode of the season. Not by far, but the best episode. Definitely, right? I thought it was great. And yeah, I just loved the way they did everything. I would have liked to see these storylines kind of have more time to kind of develop. I really like the Rachel and Robert storyline. I felt like they could have started that back in episode 6 or 7, and we could have seen way more of that. I really would have liked to see that a little bit better. And yeah, the Malik case was a little quick, but obviously I think we're going to see more of him in the second half now. So I don't think we're done with him yet. And obviously it sets up for some good stuff with Jessica, and that in the next half here, removing her name off the wall. So yeah, it'll be awesome. A really good episode to wrap up mid-season. And yeah, so favorite character for this one is Rachel Zane. Haven't had a chance to talk about her yet, so kind of picked her for this one. Obviously, Meghan Markle is the actress who plays her, and yeah, I just thought Meghan Markle did a great job in this episode. And the fact that she comes up with this whole idea to get Arthur, the way she works with her father here, the dynamic between those two is amazing with this case. And finally, I've been saying this all along, when they give her a storyline like this and they give her a purpose in the show, she excels. Meghan Markle is such a great actress. And, the character of Rachel Zane that's the character I really love on the show, right? When she's just, like this season, kind of in the background, kind of upset at Mike. That's basically like her storyline, right? I just don't feel the same way about her, right? So I thought this storyline was great. It was just like the one with Jessica last season where she fought for that guy on death row. Thought it was amazing. They need to give her more of this. That's what I'm saying. So anyways, really liked her character in this one. Only good things to say in this one. I didn't like her character earlier in this season, though, for sure. She's one of the least favorite on my list for season 7. But this episode, amazing. All the actors, of course, we have to talk about that. They did a great job this season, or this mid-season, I should say, and this episode especially. I thought all of them did well. The guy who's playing Andrew Malik, by the way, is doing amazing. So I really like the way he's doing things as well, helping out the show. So anyways, guys, that'll do it for me until I think about January or February. We'll see you guys back again for Suits Season 7, Episode 11. I'm a little sad that it's over, guys. But, obviously 6 more episodes to go. And then we'll see what the news is for Season 8. Hopefully by then we'll know. But yeah, so anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. And, of course, thanks for the support on the recent uploads. Really, really appreciate it. And yeah, please subscribe to the channel as well. And come back in January and February and watch my reviews for the second half of Suits Season 7. Anyways, thank you guys again for watching, and we will see you in January or February.